I'll start off by saying that this was a team effort all the way from practice preparing for this game to the final execution of it. And we had a good week of practice, I thought. I thought Tuesday was a little bit off, but we had Monday and Wednesday where I thought these guys were really dialed into our game plan. And what you saw out there is what happens when we follow our game plan, which was trying to get the ball inside, trying to make them have to guard us, and playing defense like we can. I was really happy to see us be able to play 40 minutes of man-to-man. I don't think we've done that in a while. I actually can't remember any game other than an exhibition game where we've done that. So really pleased with the overall effort, and with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Obviously, big game for Eric.
Yeah.
Did you kind of sense that coming in, that you were shaking off some of, I think,
Oh, yeah.
last week?
I think that when you've been out as long as he's been out, the more games you get under your belt, the better it is for you. Did I know he was going to get 17 points and 15 rebounds? Probably not. I thought but I knew he'd be better than he was last weekend. And how hard is it to come off of not playing and then playing at 2 games at altitude against one team that's ranked and another team that's pretty darn good? So I just didn't want him to be pressing in this game because we lost those first 2 games, and he did a fantastic job. I mean, he let me know how he was doing. He created havoc on defense. He was a threat offensively. He helped guys who lost their man. I mean, he was all over the place. And, if anybody doesn't think we missed him while he was out, just take a look at this game.
How happy were you with the way he sort of just set the tone early with his energy and starting with that block?
Yeah, it was great. It's what we need. When we were tinkering around with the lineup change, we were trying to find a way to get off to better starts, both at the beginning of the game and the beginning of the half. And we may be on to something with this lineup. I'm not sure. But certainly having him out there, along with Langston, you have some energetic defensive guys. And then you throw Hallice in the mix there. He's a pretty good defender for a freshman, but he's got plenty of energy. So it was really nice to see us get off to a start like that and not be down 8-2.
Inserting Hallice in the lineup, was he the spark plug that you were kind of hoping he would be?
It's funny, Stephen, at least for me, I guess it's just my nature, but I was thinking there's no possible way he could have the game he had being a freshman starting his first Pac-12 game. So I had my expectations managed to the downside. So I guess you could say he provided a spark that I didn't expect. So it was good to see. I was really happy for him. He's got to get a little bit better on guys like Randall. He has to understand that in this league everybody can score. But I thought he ran our offense. I thought he followed our game plan. He made some big shots out there. And he kept his cool. I mean, there was a point there maybe with like 3.5 to go when they cut it to 2. We could have easily panicked. We didn't. We ran through our stuff, got a good shot, and then spread that lead out again, which is new for us too.
Coach, when Hallice was drilling the ball out at the end of the game, looks like you got kind of
Well, it's interesting. What I always tell these guys is that they watch too much NBA and not enough college basketball. So he could have gotten a 5-second call dribbling around like that. So if you don't take it, if they start the count, then you dribble, they start a new count. Then if you don't get past the timeline, they call 5 seconds. So, and he was going behind his back, and I knew he was going to slip and fall. And I'm just trying to get him to understand the game's not over. You don't want to. You don't want to think like a freshman when you had a great game like that. But I was probably being a little bit overprotective. But it's interesting that you saw that, because that's what I was trying to tell him is just pass the ball around. Don't try and dribble it out. Like, you can't dribble it and hold it like you do in the NBA. They'll call a 5-second call.
Offensively, Eric made a lot of smart basketball plays.
Right.
Deciding when to drive and when to pass. So how much has he grown in that area?
Well, Grady, he's always been a high basketball IQ guy. So, that I expected to see. You know, he has never been one to get a lot of turnovers or to make bad plays. What I liked about his game was that he used his dribble very prodigiously. He like no over dribbling. Like he used it to get to the basket. He used it to set himself up, draw somebody else, and then hand it off to somebody else. I mean, you know, the kid led us in assist as well as rebounding. So it's really nice to see his feel for the game coming back. I would say that his feel is coming back, but you know, we've been watching him in practice tear our guys up when he's on the scout team. So it's nice to have him out there on our side now.
So many close games lost over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
How big of a positive is this one?
It's really big, but as I told these guys, it's only big if you grow from it and don't regress. But you know, I've sat in this chair for years telling you guys that this whole thing's a process, and learning how to finish games is an experiential process that you have to get to. I'm reluctant to say we're there, but this is a big, like you said, this is a big step because this could have been another 4 overtime game. You know, somebody asked me last week what I remember about the 4 overtime game that we lost. You know, so to be able to see him cut it to 2 on some of our own sort of shoot yourself in the foot plays, and then watch us sort of slowly creep it back out to, you know, what did we end up winning by 9? That's progress.
The kind of counter punch before you get to that last 4 minutes, your guys were able to answer those runs.
There is a level of toughness about this team that we haven't had here in my previous 5 years. So that's nice to see, and that just comes from the wars. I mean, these guys have been through a lot of close games where they weren't able to finish, and I maintain, you know, this game is such a confidence game. You know, you have to feel like you can win these types of games in order to win these types of games, and I'm just hoping that our guys feel really good about that. It was interesting. You know, I was just in the locker room before I went up to do the radio stuff, and it was as quiet as it is in here. You know, those guys expected to be in that place to win, and now they're on to the next game. They're not hooting and hollering and being happy about the fact that they beat Stanford. You know, they're thinking, well, shoot, the way we played on the road, we could have stolen one of those games, and now we got to get this next game. I sense some progress there.
Craig, you said that you were disappointed with the vets earlier this week. Did they respond the way you wanted?
Yeah, they did, and I knew they would. I mean, it was one of the few times. You know, I try and be pretty diplomatic and not. I'm not a big sort of public negative reinforcement, but I really wanted them to understand that I was extremely disappointed in their production. And they have to understand as the senior leaders that you can't just be great examples. You have to produce if we want to win. And they responded in practice. I mean, when I was telling you we had a good week of practice, those guys accepted the criticism, they embraced it, and they came out and made sure we got to work. Every single one of them. Angus, Devon, Eric, Chalet, and Roberto all made us have great practices this week. And that's what you need from guys who've been through it. And that helps the younger guys feel positive.